All it takes is a few inches of water to cause catastrophic damage to your property. As such, it's important to understand things like FEMA Flood Maps and how they affect the need for flood insurance. Keep watching to find out more. FEMA Flood Maps. FEMA has often confused the insuring public by using the term 100-year flood zone. What this means is that on any given day, you have a 1% chance of flooding. It doesn't mean that you are safe from flooding for 99 years. In order to get a FEMA flood map, FEMA generally works with local communities and counties to establish the areas that are at high risk of flooding. These flood maps are for floodplain management, flood insurance, and is how the NFIP comes up with their premiums. These flood zones also determine whether or not your lender will require flood insurance, a constant risk. Anywhere it rains, it can flood. That's why you need flood insurance coverage. Most of the recent claims we've had are in areas considered low to moderate risk. Using the flood insurance risk map provided by FEMA, your lender will review them to see if you are required to get flood insurance when you're purchasing a new home. This is due to a federal law that any lender that is getting access to or backed by federal money, and very few are not, will have to get a flood zone determination, FZD. The FZD is an official document that tells the lender if they are going to have to require flood insurance on your property or not. New flood maps. Newly mapped flood zones and flood maps are changing. As FEMA tries to keep up with the changing flood zones due to new land use and community development or changing weather patterns, they will update maps from time to time. These changes usually take 5 years to become effective, and they can be kind of out of date by the time they get into the community. One thing to consider if you are in a community and your flood zone has changed from a low to moderate flood zone, X flood zone, into a higher risk flood zone, A or AE flood zone. If you were to buy a flood policy from the NFIP within a calendar year of the effective date of the map change, you can get a hugely subsidized policy. This is something that realtors and homeowners that are looking to sell their home within the next few years should strongly consider. What this means is that you can get a flood policy that is $500, and as long as the new buyer of the property keeps your current policy, then they too can keep your savings. By getting a killer rate, it takes the risk of insurance costs out of buying a home in a flood zone. Only flood insurance experts can figure out how to make this happen. Just know it can be done. Call a flood nerd today at 1-866-990-7482 to discuss all of your available options for home and property coverage. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.